Thank you very much. What do you do when you're confronted by some of the biggest corporations in the world with projects which have some of the highest environmental and social impacts that you're likely to see? Governments that are completely in the pockets of these huge companies. The normal representative organisations like the farmers' bodies and even the environmental NGOs are completely silent on the issue, and it looks as though your campaign or any possible campaign of this situation is going to be just simply futile tilting at windmills. Well, that occurred to me as well. I always go by the mantra, even in relationships with my wife, I go by this mantra, that you never negotiate from a position of weakness. So I decided that we really had nothing there to give us strength in any negotiations we were going to have, either with the companies or with government. And so the only thing that you can do in that sort of situation is you go to the community. You go to the people who don't have a vested interest with these companies and these activities. You go to the people who are going to be affected by it. And that's what I did in early 2010 when I went bush in Queensland to talk to farmers and landowners generally and rural communities confronted by the expansion of coal mining in the middle of the mining boom and coal seam gas. And by September of August of 2010, though it had become pretty clear we were well and truly on a losing streak with this. We weren't going to stop anything and using the conventional methods, and so I suggested that we had only two options. This is to the farmers' groups, that we either roll over, take whatever compensation we could get, or that we fight. And if we fought, we'd have to use Gandhian methods. In other words, civil disobedience and community mobilisation associated with that. They decided that that's what they wanted to do, and so we began the Lock the Gate campaign. So locking the gate is the core of the strategy, and it is a strategy. That's what I want to emphasise here today. We're supposed to be talking about, campaigns that win. And campaigns that win have got to have a very clear, coherent strategy, because when you go out to talk to groups, as I've done, possibly 100, 150 times over the last few years, in barns, in local halls, in sheds, out in the fields, the first thing you've got to be able to say to them is, we can win. I'm not asking you to put up a good fight, I'm asking you to win. So you've got to convince them that you've got a strategy. And so my strategy, which I presented to people in order to win the campaign against the encroachment of coal mining and coal seam gas mining onto good agricultural land, onto communities, into important environmental areas and so on, was to lock the gate first of all, to create a strong sense of confrontation, of combativeness and theatre, all of those things, and resistance. And all of that then brings hope. You've got to give people hope. And you give people hope by giving them courage. How do they get courage? By knowing that the people around them are also going to support them in what they do. The worst thing that can happen to you if you're in the bush and these companies are coming to your door and they're telling you how many lawyers they've got and they're telling you that they've got the government on their side, you better sign up, you're going to be in big trouble. The best thing you've got on your side is knowing that your neighbours are with you. Not only your neighbours, but everyone in the local community is with you. If you can achieve that, then you give the people the courage that they need. So we then combine this initial resistance of locking the gate, and by the way, that's civil disobedience. In New South Wales in particular, it's civil disobedience. In Queensland, well, slightly less so, but sooner or later it's going to become civil disobedience. We combine that with community mobilisation. The wonderful Annie Keir, who's our community mobilisation coordinator in Lock the Gate, came up with a program whereby our people would go knocking on doors, street by street. We would create mining-free or gas-free roads. So you go down the street, you survey the people in the street, you give them information, you tell them what you're doing, and you would ask them, if they supported their road being mining-free, or coal mining-free or gas-free. And this started in the Northern Rivers. We got 95%, 96%, 98% of people in the Northern Rivers signing up, and it went road by road, then it went community by community, then it went across the whole region. The Northern Rivers became CSG free. And of course then, and that's spread since, I might add. On the level, if you think it's only hippies who are going to vote 95% to be CSG free, we got the farmers out in the Liverpool Plains in northwest New South Wales doing the same thing. 97, 98% mining free. We've got that whole northwest now basically mining free. Community by community, that's how we work. And if you... We'll be doing the same in Sydney, we'll be doing the same in Brisbane, we're going to be doing the same just east of Ipswich, west of Ipswich in Queensland, up in Bundaberg, Maryborough area. This is the same in the Southern Highlands of New South Wales. This is community-based campaigning. The other thing, of course, that we do is where we've got major agreement in a community that they do not want mining of one sort or another, then we reserve the right as a community to blockade. If one landowner is going to let them on, and sometimes it's on public land, so there's no real, even private access agreements involved, but if one person breaks the solidarity, we reserve the right as a community to blockade. And that's what we did. We blockaded. We've done about half a dozen of them so far in Queensland and New South Wales. We blockaded at Tara initially, and stopped them getting on the Tara residential estate. Then the people at Kerry in the Scenic Rim in southern Queensland blockaded Arrow. We blockaded them in, actually. If they get in, if they try to get in, we blockade them, we keep them out. If they get in, we blockade them in. That's what we did at Kerry. 28 people arrested, but then Arrow just fully upstakes and left the Scenic Rim. The same in the Northern River, then to Newcastle, at Fullerton Cove. Dart Energy was blockaded there. Dart Energy packed up and left several months ago. Left the country. In the Northern Rivers. In the Northern Rivers, a huge battle. Every time a drill rig appeared, the word would go out and the drill rig would be... what's happened?
2 minutes.
2 minutes? Oh, I haven't even got to the blockade. Okay, all right. I'll stop bragging about our blockades. We've knocked over in New South Wales 3 companies. There's Arrow, Metgasco in the Northern Rivers and Dart. We will also beat AGL at Gloucester. That's our next one. We will beat Santos out in the Pilliga and in northwest of New South Wales. We'll beat them. We won't allow them on. We'll do the same with Arrow in Queensland. We won't let them on. So we don't even have to go to government. We just simply stop the companies where they can. And if governments want to follow, so be it. And that's what's happening, of course, because we've got such community support. 86% of the people of New South Wales, in a poll we did recently, supported the idea that landowners should have the right to say no to mining companies. How about that? 86%. So, just a few, if I'm allowed. I could go on with a whole lot of other things that we do, but in order to win, I think you've got to have a number of elements to your campaign. You've got to build a narrative. That's the number one. What's your narrative? It's not just a matter of what are your issues and what do you want. You've got to build a narrative about the whole thing. It's got to be of interest to people. From the time I went west, I built a narrative about this tall, skinny old guy going out west to talk to farmers who, in normal cases, would have shot him if he came into town. And so, you know, the whole narrative built up about that, and, you know, and then Lock the Gate has built a narrative around a pretty cool name and you know, and a very determined set of actions. It's theatre. What we're involved with is theatre, for heaven's sake. You know, we've got to do dramatic, you know, interesting sorts of actions that get people interested in what you're doing and feel a sense of romance and adventure. We've got to have the high moral ground, and so non-violence is absolutely essential accompaniment of what we do. There's a cultural dimension to every social movement. You have singing, you have dancing, you have the Girls Against Gas, you have knitting nanas, all of that sort of cultural dimension which adds to the theatre and adds to the drama, adds to the humanity of the whole thing. You build the legend, therefore, and in all of that, in all of our rhetoric, we say to people, do you love this country? Do you love the landforms? Do you love the landscape? Do you love the rivers? Do you love the, you know, our classic landscape monuments? If you do, there's an invasion going on, and you're going to have to fight for it. And in this fight, where leaders have failed us, ordinary people have got to step up and become heroes. Thank you.